Now that your initial setup is done, it's time to learn how to insert a new sensor. After completing this step, you will have chosen a placement site for your sensor, inserted your sensor, attached your transmitter. Before starting this process, you should have a sensor applicator, your transmitter, and alcohol wipes ready to go. Your first sensor insertion may not feel natural, but once you have done it once or twice, it should become more familiar. The process of inserting the sensor is as follows. On the applicator barrel, the white plunger inserts the introducer needle and sensor under your skin. When the collar is pulled back completely, the introducer needle is removed and the tiny, flexible sensor remains under your skin. First, wash your hands with soap and water before opening the sensor package. After opening the package, avoid touching the adhesive area. Next, choose a site on your belly to place your sensor. When you choose the site on your belly to place your sensor, here are a few things to keep in mind. The best areas to insert your sensor are usually flat and pinchable. The placement site should be out of the way of your waistband. Avoid areas that are likely to be bumped, pushed, or pressed against, or areas of your skin with scarring, tattoos, or irritation. Place the sensor at least 3 inches away from your insulin pump infusion set or injection site. Make sure there are no traces of lotions, perfumes, or medications on the skin where you place the sensor. Change the site where you place your sensor with each new sensor. The ideal sensor insertion site for you may be based on your body type, activity, sensitivities, and other personal traits. For more help on choosing the ideal sensor insertion sites for you, contact your healthcare provider. Once you have chosen your site to place your sensor, you'll then clean the placement site on your body with alcohol and let it dry. In real time, the sensor insertion happens very quickly. Let's see how quick an actual Dexcom G4 Platinum sensor insertion can be. Once the placement site is clean, remove the adhesive tabs from the bottom of the sensor pod. Place the sensor horizontally on the placement site on your body, not vertically. Rotate your fingers around the adhesive to secure the adhesive tape to the body. Remove the safety lock by pulling straight out. Save the safety lock, as you'll be using it to remove your transmitter from your sensor after your sensor session is done. Using the thumb and forefinger on your non-dominant hand, you may want to pinch up on the tips of the white adhesive on your skin at the base of the sensor pod. With your dominant hand, place 2 fingers above the sensor applicator collar. Put your thumb on the plunger and push down completely. You should hear 2 clicks. Using your thumb as a base, move your fingers from above the collar to below the collar and pull the collar up completely towards your thumb until you hear 2 clicks, or cannot pull back anymore. You might feel pressure as you pull back the collar, but continue to pull it back completely as shown. Make sure the transmitter latch is flush against the skin. While still holding the sensor applicator, use your other hand to squeeze the ribbed tabs on the sides of the sensor pod. Rock the sensor applicator forward and out, away from your body. Once your sensor has been inserted, it's time to attach the transmitter. First, if you haven't already done so, clean your transmitter with an alcohol wipe and let it dry. Once it's dry, place your transmitter into the sensor pod, flat side down, thinner side away from the transmitter latch. With one hand, you may want to pinch up on your skin at the front tips of the white adhesive. Use a finger to hold the transmitter in place. With your other hand, move the transmitter latch forward until you hear 2 clicks. This may take some force. To remove the transmitter latch, hold the sides of the sensor pod with one hand and the transmitter latch with the other. Twist off the latch. Your sensor insertion is now complete. You are now ready to go on to the next step.
I can't imagine managing my diabetes without my Dexcom.
Dexcom has given me a level of control that I haven't had in the last 36 years.
The Dexcom G5 is a great tool for managing your diabetes, and it's extremely easy to use. In this short video, we're going to show you exactly how easy it is to get started using the Dexcom G5.
Let's watch Bruce, who just received his Dexcom G5, get it set up. Getting started is easy. There are just 4 steps. First, set up the receiver. Second, insert your sensor and attach your transmitter. Third, start your sensor. And fourth, calibrate. So you'll receive 3 boxes: your receiver, transmitter, and sensors. Let's start with your receiver box. Inside is your receiver. Under all the packaging, you'll find a Getting Started guide, a training tutorial USB card, and your charging cable and adapter. Now let's get your receiver set up. Your receiver should come charged and ready to start. If needed, charge your receiver. Press and hold the power button for 2 seconds. Wait while it loads. Tap OK on the welcome screen. To set the date and time, tap a field, tap the arrows to change the number. The date is entered as year, month, day. Tap Save to continue. Now enter your transmitter serial number, or SN. Find this on the back of your transmitter box. The numbers can be difficult to read, so you may want to pause this video to get reading glasses or a magnifier. When you found the number, you'll tap the arrows up from 9 or down from 0 to choose a letter. Now we'll set your low alert. The receiver will vibrate and audibly alert you when you're below your low alert setting. Just put in your low alert number and tap Save. Now let's set your high alert. Just like with your low alert, the receiver will vibrate and audibly alert you when you're above your high alert setting. Set the number and tap Save. Congratulations! You've set up your receiver. Now open your transmitter and sensor boxes. You are ready to insert your sensor and attach your transmitter. You'll wear each sensor for 7 days and use your transmitter for 3 months. First, choose a place on your abdomen at least 3 inches away from your insulin pump infusion set or injection site. Avoid areas with scarring, tattoos, hair, or irritation. Clean your skin with rubbing alcohol and let it dry. Grab a sensor, open the package, and remove the 2 adhesives. Place horizontally on your body and smooth out the adhesive so it sticks. Now remove the safety lock. Pull straight out like this. Place 2 fingers above the collar. The collar is this circular part right here. Pinch up the skin and insert the needle by pushing down the plunger fully. You'll hear 2 clicks. Next, pull up on the collar. Pull up until you hear 2 clicks or cannot pull back anymore. Squeeze the tabs on the sides of the applicator like this. Then rock the applicator forward so it pops out. You've successfully inserted your sensor. Now it's time to attach the transmitter. Clean your transmitter with an alcohol wipe and let it dry. When it's dry, tuck the narrow end into the sensor pod. Place 1 finger on the transmitter to keep it in place. Move the latch forward until you hear 2 clicks. Twist off the latch. You've attached your transmitter. Now you need to start your sensor. Press the power button to wake up your receiver. Make sure the Bluetooth symbol isn't blinking. Blinking means it's looking for a transmitter and it stops blinking when it's found. Once the Bluetooth symbol stops blinking, tap Start Sensor. Now your sensor warm-up has begun. The warm-up will take 2 hours to complete. You will not receive alerts or readings during this 2-hour sensor warm-up. You will need to check with your meter to make treatment decisions during this time. Keep your receiver close to you, within 20 feet, while it's warming up. Once your warm-up is complete, it's time to calibrate. Calibration is when you take a finger stick and enter the meter value into your receiver to make sure it stays accurate over the 7 days. You'll need to enter 2 initial calibrations before readings begin. Your receiver prompts you to enter calibrations. Before you begin, wash and dry your hands. Take a measurement using your meter. Use your fingertips only. Enter the value from your meter and tap Done. Confirm value and tap Save. Repeat steps to enter a second value. Entering two separate values ensures an accurate reading and is required when you start a new sensor. After these calibrations, you'll be asked for one calibration every 12 hours. See the number in the gray circle? That's an example of a sensor glucose reading in target range. It updates every 5 minutes. Over time, your graph fills in. When you go below your low alert setting, the receiver alerts you and the circle turns red. When you go above your high alert setting, the receiver alerts you and the circle turns yellow. There's also an urgent low alarm that alerts if you go below 55. You can't change or turn off this alarm. Your glucose is always changing. This is why the trend arrow is important. It shows where your glucose is heading and how fast it's moving. Arrows help you avoid being low or high by taking action before you are already too low or too high. Use your number and arrow when making a treatment decision, like treating for a low or dosing for a high. That's it. Now your system is up and running and you know how to read your home screen. To learn more about using your Dexcom G5 for treatment decisions, see your Getting Started guide or user guide. Of course, if you have any questions during setup or any other time, call Dexcom Technical Support or Dexcom Care.
Dexcom gives me confidence in myself and in managing my diabetes.
Dexcom is so easy to use, and you've got somebody on the phone 24 hours if you have a question or have a need.
It's revolutionary in the field of diabetes.
I have learned so much using Dexcom. I've learned how food affects my body, how exercise affects my body, how adrenaline affects my body. We use the alerts on the Dexcom and it beeps if our blood sugar is high and out of range or if it's low and out of range, and it gives us a quicker response to treat high and low blood sugar, and so we're able to respond much faster.
The Dexcom G6 is a great tool for managing your diabetes, and I think it's extremely easy to use. There are no finger sticks. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to get started with the Dexcom G6 app. Getting started is easy. There are just 3 steps. First, go through the app setup screens. Second, insert your sensor and attach your transmitter. And third, pair your transmitter and start the sensor 2-hour warm-up. First, let's set up the app. Download the Dexcom G6 app. If you have the G5 app installed, delete it before installing the G6 app. Then log in. If you have created an account with Dexcom in the past, use that same username and password. If you have never created an account with Dexcom, create a Dexcom account. The app walks you through the entire setup process step by step. The first few screens provide information and videos. Watch these videos and read the information screens. You will come to a screen where you need to set your low alert. I decide to set my alert to 85. That way I have time to react before my glucose gets too low. Tap Save to set your low alert. Now set your high alert. I set my high alert to 240. You should work with your healthcare professional to determine which low and high alerts would be best for you. Next, I need to enter a sensor code. My sensor code is on the sensor applicator. The next few screens walk you through connecting your transmitter to your smart device. Your transmitter and smart device connect using Bluetooth. The app automatically checks to see if your Bluetooth is on. Next, you need to enter your transmitter serial number. The serial number is on the back of your transmitter box. That's it for app setup. Now you'll need to insert your sensor and attach your transmitter. To insert your sensor, first choose a place on your abdomen. If you are under 18, you have the option to place it on your upper buttocks as well. Choose a site at least 3 inches away from your insulin pump infusion set or injection site. Avoid bony areas like ribs and hip bones and areas with scarring, tattoos, hair, or irritation. First, wash and dry your hands. Clean your skin with rubbing alcohol and let it dry. Grab the sensor you used during setup and remove both labels. Do not touch adhesive. Place the applicator on skin. Remove the safety guard. Fold and break it off. Press the button to insert sensor. Remove the applicator. You've successfully inserted your sensor. You'll wear each sensor for 10 days. Now it's time to attach your transmitter. Take your transmitter out of the box. Clean your transmitter with an alcohol wipe and let it dry. Insert the tab of the transmitter into the slot on the transmitter holder. Snap the transmitter firmly into place. Rub around the patch 3 times. You've successfully attached your transmitter. You'll reuse the same transmitter for 3 months. Once your transmitter is attached, you can swim, bathe, and shower like normal. Now it is time to pair your transmitter and start your sensor. Wait for your transmitter to pair. Then tap the Start Sensor button. Now your sensor warm-up has begun. The warm-up will take 2 hours to complete. You will not receive alerts or readings during this 2-hour sensor warm-up. After your 2-hour warm-up, you get your first sensor glucose reading. See that number in the gray circle? That's an example of a sensor glucose in target range. It updates every 5 minutes. Over time, your graph fills in. When you go below your low alert setting, the app alerts you and the circle turns red. When you go above your high alert setting, the app alerts you and the circle turns yellow. The urgent low soon alert will alert you when your glucose is falling fast and you will be at 55 in less than 20 minutes. This gives you time to take action to prevent a low.
This is your urgent low alarm. This alarm will alert if you go below 55. You cannot change, turn off, or silence this alarm.
Your glucose is always changing. This is why the trend arrow is important. It shows where your glucose is heading and how fast it's moving. Arrows help you avoid being low or high by taking action before you are already too low or too high. Of course, if you have any questions during setup or any other time, call Dexcom Technical Support or Dexcom Care.
Getting started with the Dexcom G7 app is easy. Abby has just received her system. Let's watch her set it up. The Dexcom G7 box contains your applicator with built-in sensor, overpatch, and your instructions for use. The first thing you need to do is download the Dexcom G7 app. You will need to create a Dexcom account or log in with your existing Dexcom account. Once logged in, the app walks you through the setup process step by step. First, the overview section will provide you with some basics about your system. Then you will enter your sensor ID. Grab your sensor and press Use Camera to scan code. Next, you will be provided some educational videos and screens so you can learn about your Dexcom G7. Then you will connect your phone to your Dexcom G7. You will enable Bluetooth and set other required phone settings. The app will then provide you with instructions on how to insert your sensor. Let's insert the sensor and apply the overpatch. Follow the insertion instructions carefully. Extra care may help you keep your sensor on for the entire sensor session. To insert your sensor, first choose your sensor site. begin, wash and dry your hands. Choose a site on the back of the upper arm with enough fat to avoid muscle and a site that is not likely to be bumped or pushed. Clean your site with an alcohol wipe and let it dry for at least 10 seconds. Grab your applicator and unscrew the cap. Don't touch inside the applicator. Press and hold the applicator firmly against your skin. Now push the button and remove the applicator. To help keep the patch on your skin, press on the sensor for 10 seconds. Then rub around the patch 3 times. Your overpatch will help you keep the sensor on and is bundled with your instructions in the box. Carefully pull off the clear liners one at a time. Please don't touch the white adhesive area. Use the colored tab to place the overpatch around the sensor. You may need to look in a mirror for this part. Rub around the overpatch. Use the tab to peel off the colored liner. Then rub around the overpatch. Your sensor and overpatch are now complete. Back on the app, press the Pair Sensor button and wait for your sensor to pair. Once complete, you will enter into your sensor warm-up. The sensor warm-up timer lets you know when you'll start getting readings and alerts. After your warm-up, you will start getting readings and alerts. Remember, you can customize your alerts at any time under Profile Alerts. And that is how you set up your Dexcom G7.
It's easy to get up and running with Stelo. Let me take just a couple of minutes and show you how. Okay, time to unbox your Stelo. You should have an overpatch bundled with some instructions and a sensor. The first thing to do is download the Stelo app, then create a Dexcom account, or just go ahead and log in if you've already got one. Once you've logged in, the app walks you through the setup process step by step. It'll first give you a little info about Stelo, then take you through phone settings, and finally ask you to select your health status. Then, the app provides instructions on how to insert your sensor. Let's walk through how to get your sensor inserted and apply the overpatch. You can also find directions for this in the app. First, wash and dry your hands. Next, choose a site on the back of the upper arm with enough fat to avoid muscle, and that's not likely to be bumped, pushed, or slept on. Clean the site with an alcohol wipe and let it dry for at least 10 seconds. Then, grab your applicator and unscrew the cap. Do not touch inside the applicator. Press and hold the applicator firmly against your skin until the clear safety guard is pushed in. Now, press the button and remove the applicator. To help keep the patch on your skin, rub around it 3 times. Then, press on the sensor for 10 seconds. To apply the overpatch, first carefully pull off both clear liners one at a time. Be sure not to touch the white adhesive area. Use the tab to place the overpatch around the sensor. You may need to look in a mirror for this part. Once on, rub around the overpatch. Then use the tab to peel off the liner and rub around the overpatch one more time. Back on the app, enter your pairing code. You'll find it on the applicator you just used. You can just take a photo of the QR code. Wait for your sensor to pair. When it does, you'll enter into your sensor warm-up. The timer will let you know when you'll start getting readings. And that's all there is to it. You're ready to go.
To apply a new pod, begin by removing the pod's blue needle cap. Using the pull tabs, remove and discard the white paper backing from the adhesive pad. Gently apply the pod to the selected infusion site in the proper position. Try to place it flat and even on the skin to avoid any wrinkles in the adhesive. Once the pod is applied, run your finger around the edge of the adhesive to secure it in place. Avoid getting body lotion, creams, or oils near the infusion site, as these products may loosen the adhesive.
Get ready to start on the Omnipod 5 system. Starting the Omnipod 5 system for the first time is easy, but it will require some help from your healthcare provider and training on the system. Prescribed initial insulin settings are needed to set up the Omnipod 5 system. These initial settings are provided by your healthcare provider, and you should never attempt to calculate these settings on your own. If you are currently using another insulin pump or automated insulin delivery system, you must work with your healthcare provider to assess your current settings and insulin delivery history before you enter your initial settings into the Omnipod 5 system. Every system works differently, and the settings that work for you in your current system may not be the same settings that are best to use in Omnipod 5. Initial setup will take you through 3 main steps. First, entry of personalized information and insulin pump settings. Second, pod setup and activation. And lastly, connecting a sensor. Once you have the pod activated and your current Dexcom G6 transmitter serial number entered, you will be able to use automated mode. We will give you step-by-step instructions in following videos. Remember that you will not be able to use automated mode if you are using the Dexcom receiver. You must turn off the receiver and use the Dexcom G6 mobile app. During setup, you are asked to connect your data management accounts. If you skipped this step, return to omnipod.com/setup. Follow the steps to link your accounts and share your data seamlessly with your healthcare provider. You will need to enter your healthcare provider's unique code in order to share your data with their practice. If you do not have this unique code, please contact your healthcare provider to obtain it. We know you are excited and ready to start, but before you begin, let's talk about diabetes basics. The Omnipod 5 is an automated insulin delivery system, but remember, your interaction is still important for optimal glucose results. Remember to bolus using the Smart Bolus calculator for meals, snacks, and for high glucose levels. Treat low glucose levels as recommended by your healthcare provider. Monitor your pod sites for any issues with absorption or insulin delivery. Once you get started, it may take some time to adapt. The Omnipod 5 system adapts over time to meet your insulin needs, and it may take some time for you to get comfortable with a new system. This is normal. Any change in insulin therapy comes with a learning curve. Depending on your previous therapy, initial settings, and your insulin delivery habits, optimizing your insulin delivery could take a few days up to a few weeks. Be patient and follow up with your healthcare provider as some settings may need to be adjusted after starting Omnipod 5.